brother who came back from Iraq with PTSD. So I spent a year trying to get my brother help. It doesn't, because there's the institutions that we live in, they really do profit off of pharmaceuticals. They profit off of war. They don't really give a shit what happens to your family. They come back and they'll die or kill themselves or whatever happens. There's a whole new batch that'll come through. So really it's up to communities now to work on the issue. Now, as a filmmaker, you want to make movies entertain, but you also you got to think about the life you're living. So this is my life. I had cancer 5 years ago. I had stage 3 testicular and lung cancer. It was the same cancer Lance Armstrong had, to the T. So I didn't use cannabis to treat it at that point, but I've used it since to try to prevent it from happening again. And I saw it working for certain groups of people that it just totally works for. So I look at Hollywood right now. I don't see anything that reflects what's happening to people every day in their real lives. And I think that art should be something that, at times, is a vanguard for the change you want to see. So anyway, there's a little bit of an activist thing to it, but it's also just my reality. I've also had, I'll come out of the closet here and say it, I've had paranormal experiences which have shown me that the only way to really understand the human condition is to go beyond the mind I would say the conditioning that we have in our culture to say this is what our reality is. And some of these plants, like cannabis, but mostly stuff like in the Amazon, the ayahuasca, that kind of stuff, it does open a door to understanding the human condition better. And you can't really purge a lot of that trauma that PTSD inflicts upon people until you go beyond the limitations that we have with how we view the mind, how we view our experience. So to me, it's a fundamental tool that you have to respect too. I don't think it's all purely recreational at all. But I think that we need that access as a community and as a culture. Otherwise, we're kind of doomed, because we're just going to keep getting put through the meat grinder, constantly, and people are going to feed off of that, whether they're humans that are preying upon you or whether they're aliens, whatever. So it's symbolic of basically parasitical environment that I think we live in, that we get pushed through. So I think you can cure PTSD. I really think that there are other opportunities. I hope when people watch the film, they'll take another look at marijuana and plants and the natural world, and not always be trying to profit off it, not always be trying to downplay. And yeah, you can have your jokes. I mean, I've been around a lot of stoners in the last couple months, couple years, right? Stoner time and Hawaiian time, they're very similar, So, but you gotta, at some point, you can have both. I think you can have your cake and eat it too. Hollywood just doesn't reward it, because it's much simpler to just kind of shove shit down people's throats they've already seen before, get some money and go on to the next thing, because no one wants to take big chances. So anyway, I hope that kind of explains, why I tried to make the film.
Yeah, one of the reasons why our group fell in love with the film was because of the underlying PTSD with it, because it's there's not a lot of movies or anything that really, especially here in the United States, that talk about it or deal with it. And it's a very shoved in the corner issue here. But then when you go around the world in other countries and things like that, they all have, which I learned from Richard, they all have the kind of things to help people when their troops come back from war.
Yeah. It's not really as profitable though.
Yeah. It's not. They'll shoot you with Thorazine as soon as you walk into a lab. Every ancient culture that had a warrior culture had a return process. The Spartans had a form of yoga, believe it or not, that they used to do, which people think, the Spartans, they're super tough. They weren't stupid. They were around war 24 hours a day. So they had to adopt different modalities to deal with it. The Israelites, the story of the Israelites going through Canaan, they had to spend 10 days outside of Jerusalem with their priest out there because they were killing kids, So every culture, the samurai did flower arranging, the samurai did calligraphy,
origami.
Here's a big samurai guy crying over his origami, but that's what it took, for them to purge. So by not having that, you're creating this backlog.
We have football.
We have football. Football's a start.